the headlines. No contract with any external AI provider, although a project involving the tax office is in development. The gaming and insurance industries bring in over £250 million in corporate tax in the last financial year. Government denies its residency rules are anti-British, anti-business or anti-growth. Scouts UK confirms convicted former Scouts leader Clayton Booster has been permanently excluded from the movement. And Stella McComb selected to compete with the Great Britain dressage team at the next European Championships. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The government has confirmed it has not signed a contract with any external artificial intelligence provider, although an AI project involving the Central Arrears Unit and Tax Office is in development. The Minister for Justice, Trade and Industry, Nigel Feetham, was answering questions from the opposition in Parliament.
Speaking in Parliament, Minister Nigel Feetham provided details of a recent trip to El Salvador, which cost just over £10,000. Mr Feetham said the visit included meetings with regulators, government officials and industry representatives as Gibraltar seeks to strengthen its position as a jurisdiction for innovation, financial services and digital assets. He said the trip has already generated new business interest, including applications in the prediction markets, gaming and financial services sectors. In answers to questions from the GST opposition, Mr Feetham also provided an update on the authorisation regime. This refers to permanent legal framework that allows Gibraltar-based financial services firms to access the UK market, something he said the UK has reaffirmed its commitment to. He also said proposed changes to UK legislation could help speed up implementation. Nigel Feetham said provisions relating to regulated individuals were delayed to ease pressure on the industry, allow for a digital licensing process, and to give the gambling division more time to manage ongoing licensing work. The new regime is not expected to come into effect before October.
Let me say that His Majesty's Government of the UK, through the Treasury, have given me a categorical commitment that they stand behind Gibraltar. Secondly, that they also understand the sensitivities for our economy, Madam Speaker, in terms of anything that is done in the UK that might impact on Gibraltar and indeed our tax revenues. His Majesty's Government for the UK Treasury understand that. We have made very strong representations, Madam Speaker, not least on the back of the representations that we made on the UK gaming tax. And we have made the point emphatically that Gibraltar is not in a position to take a double hit of any nature.
And tax receipts provided to Parliament show the gaming, betting and insurance industries account by far for the biggest share of corporate tax each year, bringing in over £170 million combined in 2025-26. In total, Nigel Feetham said the amount collected was over £252 million for the last financial year.
And if you look at the national tax strategy, Madam Speaker, the way that I've implemented and devised the national tax strategy is how you would run a public listed company, and how you would run a company with very strict governance, very strict delivery timelines, and indeed with a team which is now quite exceptional in terms of the work that they do in the tax office. But the way that we've done it is that we've looked at different sectors to see, as the Chief Minister has rightly pointed out, whether or not they are paying their fair share of taxes.
The government has denied its residency rules are anti-British, anti-business or anti-growth. The Chief Minister claims it's a sensible and responsible framework to ensure that residency in Gibraltar is linked to genuine contribution and that its public services are properly protected. Replying to criticism from the opposition, the government points out the GST had seen the policy and had raised no concerns, adding it's a textbook example of opposition for opposition's sake.
The government is of the opinion that if the opposition's concerns were genuine, they would have been raised when the policy was shared with them, or at the very least, immediately after publication. It says the purpose of the new residency criteria is clear. They're designed to ensure that residence in Gibraltar is linked to genuine contribution, proper employment, adequate means, suitable accommodation, lawful conduct, and the protection of public services. The government reiterates British nationals who come to Gibraltar to work, invest, contribute to the economy and form part of the community will continue to be a crucial part of Gibraltar's economic fabric. The policy, it says, also includes appropriate flexibility to deal with genuine cases where Gibraltar's economic interests require it. And it adds, it's consulted with the convent and the Foreign Office on the new proposed rules, with no suggestion that the policy is anti-British in any way. The government also rejects the suggestion that these rules give Spain greater leverage over Gibraltar, saying the opposite is true. A clear and properly managed residency framework strengthens Gibraltar's ability to decide who may reside here and on what terms. The Chief Minister says it's difficult to take seriously the suggestion that the opposition suddenly regards the changes as a major risk to Gibraltar. Fabian Picado claims the £37,500 per annum income figure for new residency of any nationality who wants to reside and work on the Rock will have a beneficial impact on the economy. The UK, he says, has a similar threshold for work and residence permits into the UK. He adds that increasing the population with new people on low wages, which is what Mr Sopardi advocates, reduces the average tax yield and increases the pressure on public services.
Scouts UK has confirmed former Scout leader Clayton Booster has been permanently excluded from the movement and he'll never be allowed to volunteer with it again. They described his crimes as abhorrent. The former teacher and Scout leader was found guilty on all charges of sexual offences against children last week. Scouts UK also told GBC another local Scout leader remains suspended. During the trial, the court heard one of Booster's victims confided in the man about the abuse, but he did nothing about it.
Scouts UK has confirmed former Scout leader Clayton Booster has been permanently excluded from the movement following his conviction for sexual offences against children. They also confirmed that he has not been a member of the Scouts since 2016. In a statement to GBC, Scouts UK described Booster's crimes as abhorrent, saying it wanted to see justice for every survivor and hoped his conviction went some way to providing that. It also thanked the survivors, saying they had shown considerable bravery in coming forward to tell their story. GBC also asked Scouts UK about another local Scout leader, now in his late 50s, who was mentioned during the trial. One of the victims told the court he had confided in the man about what had happened to him. The court heard the matter was not reported to authorities at the time. Scouts UK say it became aware of this allegation on the 15th of August 2023. It said that as soon as they received the information, the man was immediately suspended from his role in Scouting and has had no active involvement with the movement since then. They said appropriate action, including exclusion, would be taken when individuals are found not to have followed its policies and procedures. Now that the Booster case has concluded, Scouts UK says it will be able to move the matter forward.
The Development and Planning Commission has rejected a request to allow 24-hour marine works at the East Side project. Members weigh the potential benefits of accelerating construction against concerns over noise and the environmental impacts.
In today's meeting of the DPC, the Eastside developer had sought permission to carry out marine works around the clock. It argued overnight activity would be limited and not continuous, and said greater flexibility around tides and weather could shorten the construction programme by around 3 months. But members of the board heard that a trial period of extended working hours until midnight had already generated complaints from nearby residents. The Environmental Agency confirmed 4 noise complaints, and a further 3 complaints were received directly by the Development and Planning Commission. The ESG also raised a number of environmental concerns. Janet Howard said sediment plumes associated with the reclamation works appeared to be increasing in size, and warned this was becoming a growing concern. For his part, the Environment Minister said he was conflicted. John Cortes acknowledged the benefits of completing the project sooner, but also expressed concern about the impact on residents and the surrounding environment. He said any approval would require strict conditions, including continuous environmental monitoring. But when the matter went to a vote, the application for 24-hour working was rejected by 6 votes to 4. The DPC, however, did approve a separate proposal, allowing works to continue until midnight under the current conditions.
You're watching GBC News. Coming up after the break, 2 St John ambulance volunteers invested into the order. The Christian Hook raises $1 million for a children's charity, and 14-year-old Gibraltarian Stella McComb is riding high. Back in just a few minutes. Stay with us. Welcome back. 2 St John ambulance volunteers who have spent countless hours training, teaching first aid and standing ready to respond to emergencies have been invested into the Order of St John. A number of cadets also received awards and certificates at the events which recognise the volunteers' commitment, compassion and community care. Jared Baglietto and Seri Andressa were formally admitted during a ceremony at the King's Chapel. Katie Docker asked them about the challenges of the work they do for the service.
So obviously the most challenging is sometimes that we can see things that we're not used to and stuff like that once we're out on events. But it's also quite rewarding because at the same time we're helping others. And to be honest, for me, it made me want to be a paramedic, so I went to study in the UK. And that's all because of St John's, and I'm actually quite grateful for them.
So what message would you give to anyone watching about volunteering and about supporting the community?
Please consider it. I understand it could be a little bit scary sometimes, especially if you can feel a bit squeamish with blood or injuries. Understand. It's not always just about first aid. We're always happy to have people come. We're a very welcoming bunch, and we hope to see plenty more in the future because we always are in need of volunteers. The more that we have in the community, the better we can be as a service to the whole community. Anyone can volunteer. You do not have to be medically minded or want to even pursue a medical career.
And we saw some quite young cadets here today. So what age range do you find that there is here?
So cadets start from age 10 to about 17. We also used to have a badger section, which they were younger than 10. Obviously, we haven't been able to fulfill it for a couple of years, but we're thinking of bringing it back because obviously for us, it's like the badgers and the cadets are the ones that always stay, and they are the ones that lasted the longest. I started when I was 4.
So you have good memories of being a badger?
Yeah, I do have very good memories all throughout and stuff like that. And as I said, it pushed me to do what I love.
Christian Hook's K-Night on a White Horse has raised $1 million for Cordwell children during an auction over in London. The charity supports children and young people with disabilities, with the funds raised from the painting specifically earmarked for the purchase of wheelchairs for children with serious mobility issues. The painting was created specifically for the auction, as Christian told our reporter Claire Hernandez.
So I wanted to have something where the painting, the buyer and the children really were, part of something, part of the idea. It's got a black head where the night is falling on the head of the horse, and you have also the stars falling on the horse, which are orange, and an orange moon, which is, in spirituality, is the color of transformation, the color of hope. Also, it's got some of the star signs, because we're on the year of the horse, and that, the year of the horse is supposed to be a very positive one, and time for some real change. The actual fairy tale in some way come true because the horse actually does save all the children.
I'll take it off because I know we're selling in fast, but I'm big. $1 million!
And it worked out really well, Yeah.
Did you ever think that it was going to fetch such a large amount of money,
No,
record-breaking sums?
I never really have any idea of what's going to happen, and I've got a team with me, and I always do everything to the best of my ability. But once I let it go, that's the best I can do, and then it's up to the rest or up to fate to happen. But of course, creativity is creativity. Sometimes some things come out better than others. It's as part of what it is. But in this case, I think that it was a very poignant and a very suitable idea for the charity. And it actually worked. It got to raise $1 million for the charity, and obviously they were able to buy a lot more wheelchairs. So I'm very happy about that. I mean, it's a 2 meter by 2 meter painting. It wasn't just, they don't sell that in Gibraltar, so we had to prepare the boards, like have it made. It didn't fit in here, so we had to do a few things to get it into the studio. And then find the composition, paint the painting, let it dry, frame it, crate it, send it to you. Okay, it's like, so it's not just the painting of it; it was the whole thing, but it was definitely worth it, in the end.
The Times recently named you one of the best portrait painters in Britain. Mm-hmm. How does it feel to get that kind of recognition?
Every time I get anything, I always obviously show my team, show my brother, show my parents, whatever. One day, we celebrate it one evening, but then I completely forget about it the next day and we continue. It's because we don't really stop at any point where we've done something and we spent 3 years or two weeks rambling on about it. It's done, we celebrate it, and then I continue to the next thing, and there is always really exciting next things, and that's how I get going,
Stella McComb has been selected to compete with the Children of Horses Great Britain dressage team at the next European Championships to be held in Czechia next month. The 14-year-old local has been topping the leaderboard for Team GB at a number of internationals in Spain and Portugal. Her selection has been confirmed on the Team GB website. Stella was informed verbally a few weeks ago, but had to keep the great news to herself until it was made official. Registration is now open for the 2027 Relay for Life. The biannual event will be held on Saturday the 5th of June next year. 12 teams have already registered for the event.
The date is set, Saturday the 5th of June 2027. Gibraltar will once again be walking for charity. Last year saw an impressive £141,217 raised for Cancer Research UK. At the launch, visiting fundraising manager for Cancer Research UK, Sharon Baldwin, explained what a difference the money raised made. I spoke to team captain and chair Sofia Baglietto and vice chair Liane Camilleri about next year's event, as well as reflecting on the success of 2025.
I'm in a position where I'm still shocked with the amount of fundraising we raised, the amount of interest, the amount of effort that the community put, and to the point that I think it was our best year, definitely our best year so far, and we're hoping for even bigger things for 2027. It was in fact my first relay that I was actually part of the committee, so on that end it was extremely rewarding to have been able to be on the other side. So I think this time round, I think we're going to try and go only bigger and only better, and we're really excited to launch today with Relay for Life 2027.
Well, Gibraltar being the small community we are, it's constant. I think it's touched everybody at some point. We are all directly or indirectly related to somebody who's been touched by cancer. For me personally, it was my own journey. I'm a cancer survivor. I had my father who passed away due to cancer. I have a number of relatives who've also survived cancer. You see it constantly, last year there was a lot of young people who passed away to cancer, so we did see an increase, and that makes a huge difference in the community. You see the community come together and support the cause because everybody wants to find a cure for cancer, and what better way than actually giving back to cancer research and in hope of obviously finding a cure for cancer.
Registration is now open, and you can register your team by visiting the Cancer Research UK website Relay for Life page. Team captains need to link a Just Giving page to their registration and must claim the page via the link in their confirmation email. No doubt the community will once again turn out next year to raise money for charity, in an event that has become one of the most fun but personal and moving of the social calendar.
Things got a little busy around the airport earlier today. Traffic was disrupted for about an hour this morning after police responded to reports of an unattended bag near the air terminal. Pedestrian and vehicular access across the frontier was also temporarily restricted in both directions, and a controlled explosion was ultimately carried out as a precaution. These are the images we play this bulletin out with, and a reminder as well, The Viewpoint is up next with a panel tonight discussing Brexit, 10 years on from the referendum. From the news team, thanks for watching. Good night.